I don't know if this is a follow-up video or whatever, but it's another video about depression. I think, uh, like if you have a social situation and so like say something traumatic happens to you, for example, uh, everybody knows what that is. You play that, and you get totally like destroyed. You can't do anything. You're bad at it. It's like you, for example, like oh look, and then you try to run, and you can't control the ball, or you try to shoot, and instead of you shooting really well, so like, let me try. Oh fuck. You want to try and shoot. Um, you want to try and like, uh, shoot, shoot like that. But instead, you can only shoot like this, like that, and you feel terrible about it. You just feel terrible about it. And after a traumatic experience, you might come home, and then you start to get violent feelings, or not violent feelings, but you start to come home, and then you're frustrated that you did bad, and you did really bad at it, and you're just frustrated about it. And you lash out verbally, or you lash out. You start to you cry, and you're frustrated about it, and then you might start to get suicidal feelings about it. Like you feel suicidal about it. You don't feel like suicidal, I'm gonna die tomorrow, but you start to get suicidal feelings about it, and you start to feel frustrated about it. But it might not be a depression, full out depression at first, but it's like depressive feelings, and you're just frustrated about it. As a guy, it's often you want to dominate something, you want to do well in something. And I'm speaking as a guy. I don't know, as a woman, for example, you might, I've heard it. They don't feel beautiful enough. Like, oh, I'm not beautiful enough, and then they start to get depression. Like, oh, I don't look beautiful enough. But I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I'm a guy. I'm a man. So people get caught up in this sort of, if can get this thing, or if I can be this, I'm gonna be happy, or I'm gonna be the perfect person, or it's something. People get caught up in these things, and if they don't feel perfect in something, they start to get bad feelings, or sad feelings, or depressive feelings. Uh, where does it come from? That's a good question. Or, for example, some people, if it's a situation where you can't get something that you want, and then it kind of gets to your head. It gets to your head, but where does it come from? That's a good question. Um, but that's just depressive feelings, as I explained. When you're in actual depression, like, also you get home, and then people ask what's wrong, and then you lash out verbally. You just lash out because you're so frustrated. Um, yeah. But and then you kind of get depressive feelings afterwards, but maybe not full on depression. But that can also happen after a while. One day you just kind of yeah, you just kind of it just hits you, and then you get all you actually get depressed, and then you don't want to do anything. And as I explained in the previous depression video, that's what depression is like. You sort of get to that stage, which is terrible. It's worse than having depressive feelings. Like sometimes you're so sad about not being perfect in a sense. I don't know what it's like to be a woman, but you get kind of you're so frustrated that you're not perfect that you're kind of you just sit in a corner and you're just sad. And yeah, there's this thing about obviously um, there's more to life than just one thing. It's like if it was let's say, for example, if it was so easy to get out of depression, oh, let me just have a good drink, or oh, look at these beautiful flowers, look at this beauty, if it was that easy to get out of depression, oh, just focus on something else, just focus on something else, right? If it was that easy, nobody would be depressed, or have depressive feelings. Where does it come from, or why do people want to be perfect in something? Where does that come from? I don't know, because no one is perfect. Like no one is perfect. It's true. No one is. There's no such thing. But I think people get caught up in this perfection stuff, so they get depressed when they can't. People get depressive feelings when they can't, oh, I'm not beautiful enough, or I'm not physically competent enough, or whatever the hell it is, or oh, I can't get this one thing that I want, or you name it. People get caught up in this kind of thing, and then yeah, that's how people get depressed. I mean, it's a real thing. I don't like when people say it's easy to say after you've been through it. Oh, just focus on something else. Just focus on things that make you happy. Just focus on things that you're competent at. Just focus on what you have instead of what you don't have or can't have or whatever the hell people say. But if they haven't been in your shoes, if you could somehow transfer your mind to their, like, let's say you could somehow, if you could put what you went through so that everyone in the world can experience what you went through. But that's not possible. That's not possible to do. Nobody can do that except some people believe in God, and people claim God can do that. But yeah, I don't know what to say. But yeah, I don't. It's so easy to say, oh, just focus on something that makes you happy, or focus on something else. But you haven't been in their shoes. You haven't been in their shoes. You haven't been in their shoes, so you don't know what it's like to be that person. But as I've said, obviously it gets better, and uh, you don't stay in this sad state forever. I mean, you get over stuff, but it's when it happens, it's real, and feelings matter. People's. But also, I think that people don't. Sometimes people just dismiss it because I don't. We don't live in a world where you have to like run from animals. But the way we used to live, we used to be in a situation where you probably couldn't have feelings of empathy very often because you had to constantly be on guard. Like, oh, I have to watch out, and because you could die when you live outside in nature, you could die. So didn't have that. Obviously, people had empathy back then too, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what more to say on this subject. I don't have anything more to say. Um, it gets better. It does. I would say just relax and try and I don't know. Just you'll get over what makes you sad. Somehow you'll get over it. You will have days where you feel better. You will laugh again. You'll feel happy again. Yeah. That's it. I don't have anything more to